It's Champagne Wishes with Abby and Martha as they'll dive into their lives, relationships, current events, and host guests from time to time to talk with and to learn from, and to build a stronger connection with their community. They'll be stripping away the pretty filters and will be bringing you everyday realness along the way. And here they are, Abby and Martha.
Snapchat.
All right, so
okay,
Martha.
clanky. Here we are.
Clanky.
We are so excited. This is our third podcast
It's
episode.
official.
Yes, it's official, and we have two special guests with us today.
Mm-hmm. And you guys are our first guests, so just
Yay! Bear with us and bear with us because we haven't done this before, but we're super excited to have you guys. J Money, Jennipher Moore, one of my best friends, is here in the house.
What
Whoop,
up?
whoop.
What up? And we have Katie Williams, my little
Woo!
sissy.
Hi.
She's
Yes.
also our sommelier for
Yes.
the podcast. She gives us all the goodies on all the wine.
But I didn't pick out any of the wine.
You guys are
But she's got it going down tonight.
but yeah.
So, yes, we are so excited to have both of you on. And just a little bit of how do I know Jennipher, how we met.
getting to know you. Sorry.
Yes, so Jennipher and my husband Mark went to school together at UCM. And funny connection, you guys remember seeing each other at, what is
Quarter
it?
Draws.
Quarter Draws, which, what is that, Jennipher?
It was a special time of the night where you got to pay a quarter for a beer.
Oh my gosh, does that even exist anymore?
Wow.
I don't, if it does, tell me where because I want to be there.
I've never had a quarter of nothing.
So was this like a 2-hour period or what?
I want to say it was like $8 for a cover charge for 3 hours.
Of a quarter draw?
Yes, and
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we had probably hundreds of cups at our table.
Where was that at? At Warrensburg at
Warrensburg.
UCM.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yep.
Good old
So I meet Mark after UCM, and we see a post online. We're looking for childcare for our Mallory at the time, and we find a friend of ours tagged in your in-home daycare. Tagged a post that you guys had an opening, and the rest is history. We came, met Jennipher and her partner at the time, Sarah, and we fell in love with you guys immediately. And both of our children have been at your daycare, loved on our children forever. You're part of our family. We love you, Jennipher. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, small
Thank you
world.
for having me.
I
I
think we
know.
should clinky clinky.
Clinky,
That's so
clinky.
cute. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, and so KK.
How'd we meet?
KK.
Yay! So thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
I'm really excited to have you here to talk about one of the things you're most passionate about.
Murder. It's true.
It's true. It's true. So, Kate, tell us. We've got some different demographics going here. You are 9 years younger than I am, which makes you 18.
No. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yep. No.
I'm about to turn 29.
Okay, so Martha and I
I'm
had
approaching
this-
30.
We had this conversation in like the first podcast about does that bother you to be asked how old you are?
Oh, to ask me how old I am, no. But to know that I'm about to turn 30, yes.
Ooh, you're not excited.
30s are your
TikTok.
best, baby.
30
are
years
your
put
best.
me in a frenzy.
Oh, I don't TikTok.
I TikTok and these Gen Z girls coming from my skinny jeans and my side
Side
parts.
part. No.
I'm
We're
having
not doing that. We're not doing
it's a bit of a crisis.
We aren't shaming
I'm
you for
old.
that.
Well, we have to just throw down in a big way so you look excited or
but I know how to do my
excited.
taxes. Like I have like
Yes,
some
you have your
advantages
shit
over
together,
them.
girl.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I'm starting to feel old.
All right.
What's
well,
happening?
and you have our little real burrito.
Yes, she's gonna be 3 in June.
She's adorable.
She is adorable. We love the burrito.
Yep, she's a cutie pie. So we are here to talk about true crimes. So,
Boom, boom, boom.
boom, boom, boom. There are an overwhelmingly amount of women, right,
Yep.
that are obsessed with true crimes.
And we aren't one of them.
No, we're not.
It's not our jam.
So we brought the two of you lovely ladies on tonight to tell us what is your obsession? What's behind it? Why
Why
do you
would you wanna
spend
watch
right and then go like Abby always says, let me watch a like slow, soothing show right before bed and then night, go to bed.
It's like her
No.
arms are cut off, her legs are cut off.
Right. Like what?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
that? I just don't
It's-
get it. So please
Yeah,
share.
enlighten us. Okay, let's enlighten us. When did you start first watching true crime stuff? Do you remember?
My obsession started on the way home from a trip from Herman, Missouri, and my friends were like, "Have you heard of Crime Junkie?" And I'm like, "No."
No, I haven't.
We listened to it the whole way home. I made her sit in my driveway for like an extra 20 minutes so I could finish the episode. And then after that, it became everything. True crime, unsolved mysteries.
Yes,
yeah.
I remember
All of
Unsolved
it.
Mysteries.
Do you guys
when I was
remember Unsolved Mysteries from like
Like
when
the
you were-
OG, the dude in the trench
OG.
coat.
It used to creep me out.
And
My
the
kids.
longest intro to a show known to me.
yes,
that
lingers.
song, it will take you back.
The music was scary.
So I think my parents would
was.
watch. I don't know if it was Friday nights, but it was like a new episode of Cops, and then it was Unsolved Mysteries. And what was the other one? There was another show. What?
Well, there was
it?
2020 and Dateline always.
Yeah, but it was
Right.
like this lineup. Well, there was also Rescue 911
Yes.
with William Shatner.
Oh,
I forgot about
or
that.
Most Wanted.
Oh,
Yeah, oh, that's
Most
it.
Wanted.
Nice.
Yes,
So it was
Most
Cops,
Wanted.
Then the Most Wanted, and then it was Unsolved Mysteries. And as a kid, and my kids my parents watching, I was like, I'm gonna tuck in all of my feet. I'm not gonna have one part of my body outside of my blanket because I'm freaked out.
No, and the
Nope.
fact that our 80s parents, like when we were growing up in the 80s, like they didn't care.
No.
They were like, oh, they'll be fine. And now we're like, should we show them this? Should we not do this?
No,
All these
you
things go
shouldn't.
through my mind, and you shouldn't because we're like scarred from that.
No,
you know?
90s kid here, and I slept well after watching Sopranos and 6 Feet Under in second grade. That
Yes.
was literally the highlight of my week. Was like
Sunday night.
they cover my eyes for the sex scenes, but like blowing someone's brains out, I was just like captivated. And then no, but murder and literally, I remember this in Boone, North Carolina. So that means it was before third grade that I was watching Sopranos.
Oh my god.
And 6 Feet Under, which is just a show about death.
Macabre. It's totally macabre. So that's how.
Yeah, that
Billy
was
brought
probably
up
my
on that,
intro to, along with like Dateline in 2020 and Oprah. Like the best
Oprah's.
Oprah episodes were like the ones where like you confront the person who shot you in the face and
gosh.
like those episodes when I get home from school.
Okay, seriously.
I don't remember those. Just
you remember-
gonna go ahead and throw it out there.
When she was giving away gifts, I was like boring. But if she was confronting someone or
See, I
like
like
if
the
it was
My
the
Favorite
nitty gritty
Things.
dirty ones,
Oh, I
I
did
was
too.
so excited.
But let me tell you something. So
I didn't know about any of those.
Well,
So Oprah had like an FBI guy on her show, and I will never forget the advice he gave. And what's so funny is I watched that first show, and then she had him on like 15 years later, and other women heard the advice that he gave, and then were able to save themselves
Oh my gosh.
in real life situations. And what the guy said, I wish I knew his name. He's from the FBI. He said, never let them take you to a second location. If they take you to a second location, your probability of surviving that attack is down by like 90%. So they had women on like my age that saw it as kids, and then like 20 years
Gives
later,
me chills.
Oprah had it back on, and they were like, I remember you saying, don't let them take you to a second location. And she fought the attacker off, and like,
Yep.
Oprah!
Oprah.
Oprah is
thank
amazing.
you.
Love Oprah.
Harpo
you.
has good info.
Harpo does.
I mean,
Harpo does.
She does. You're right.
And now her network has a lot of true crime shows on it.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, what's your favorite show to
Yeah.
watch?
Or podcast.
Well, Crime Junkies is still
Crime
my favorite.
Junkie.
There's something about Brit's voice. She just draws you in, and then when she's like, and then
You're
bum
like,
bum bum.
They're
I'm like,
soothing.
"What?"
They're soothing,
Tell me.
talking about
Yes.
really unsoothing topics.
Yes, I mean they
Yeah.
really are.
Smart.
They make like a murder sound like a lullaby. Like
They do.
Here's
Oh.
it just draws you in. You have to hear it.
yeah.
Well, there
so,
was some research. Ava totally hooked us up today and did like
some
an hour's worth
awesome
of homework
research.
for us.
Yep.
Love that.
And one of the things that she saw was that true crime for women has a fairy tale esque like flow to it, and I think you just brought that up too, like where
Yes.
it's got this thing for women that really resonates. It's like a Disney show.
I was
Right?
listening, so I don't ever listen, but I said, oh, okay, I'm going to listen to a podcast about true crime. And it was about a woman that found out she was pregnant, and the guy was upset that she was pregnant, and he lured her in to drive after being off shift for like 10 hours. So like you said, it's this whole like, oh, he's excited that I'm pregnant now, so I'm gonna drive 10 hours and meet him, and then she disappears. And then I didn't listen to the rest of it.
It was in Colorado. I know. I listened.
Yeah,
it was the first one.
You'll do the basic.
I'm like, okay, I don't want to listen anymore, because I was like, oh my gosh. But you know what was going through that woman's head? She's like, okay, I found out I was pregnant. The mom and the dad of the baby are like not so happy, but then all of a sudden he's like, come see us. And so in that woman's mind at that time, she thought, oh my gosh, like maybe he has a change of heart or whatever that is that lures them in. And that is what that's why I can't watch these, because it hurts me, because it's just like, oh.
So if it involves children, since becoming a mother, I skip it.
Do you?
Before becoming a mom, I would watch the ones with kids, and now no more.
Yeah,
absolutely skip right over it. But I'm a forensic file. It's like, it's the same producers as Unsolved Mysteries, like the OG one. So they're like 1980s, like early 1990s, and I've seen them all. I fall asleep to them every night, and it's because every night.
That's frightening to me.
But the guy's voice who narrates them is very soothing.
Like you were just saying, it's like
like
more
a
of like a
lullaby.
lullaby, but it's like you're talking about murder. So I have
like
a
I'm
problem.
gonna wake up in the morning and I'm gonna find who did that.
Do you guys have bad dreams after you watch it?
That's what my sister was saying. She's like,
I've always had bad dreams, so who knows?
You don't dream about anything that's a gift then, because you don't go to bed like manifesting that.
I think it's because I work with kids all day. I like mentally, like I rarely dream about my son. Like I mentally shut that part of my brain off at night.
Because you really need to recharge.
Yes, and I feel like shows like that really do help shift me.
From Rainbows and Butterflies to...
Oh, that's she's always like...
Yes.
I mean, I love the way Jennipher speaks to children. If I could like put on my Jennipher voice, it'd be like, let's calm our bodies. Let's do this. Like I'm just like, I had to channel my inner Jennipher, because I'm like, stop it! Don't do this. J Money. Yeah, she's J Money after 5:30. J Money after 5:30.
I become someone else.
Yeah, she's J Money.
J Money after 5:30.
Oh my gosh, J Money. Yes, it's part of the merch. Yeah, because she's so like, would we talk to our friend like that? Would we do this? Like she's so good at redirecting that I think, like you said, after saying that 5 million times a day, you're like, true crimes, I got this. Like I need to check
Tell
out
me your life.
Yeah.
Did anybody watch the stuff about the Golden State Killer?
Oh,
that one got me. Did you watch that?
Yes.
The HBO.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that one got me. So I think like I've dabbled here and there, and as much as I say like I don't like this, if there's a real good buzz around a story, I'll definitely watch that. And then there was like a Ted Bundy thing that.
Well, those are like the generics. Sorry.
You are a lame.
I am like a web sleuth. Like I will hear of a crime. I hate unsolved crimes. I don't like not getting the finalization that this person was caught and they're locked away forever. So if there's one girl I follow on YouTube. Well, there's Bailey Sarian, where she does her makeup. We talked about this. She does her makeup and talks about true crime, and it's like the best of both worlds. That one's open too.
I got it.
And then you gave me the knife. Thanks. And then what?
I distracted her with a really good one.
Yeah,
Bailey Sarian.
Like, the prisoner.
Well, she does makeup and talks about true crime, and they're like 45 minute episodes, and she's so funny and witty and quick. But she researched for like 2 days before, and then she talks about it.
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
She's funny.
But
makeup and true crime, that's hitting on so many different levels.
It's good
like
too.
full cake up. Like her makeup
Cake
looks
up.
bomb.
I've never heard that term, cake up.
Yes,
Yes.
her face is
funny.
caked, and she looks really good. But yeah, I still don't.
I kind of like the Unsolved one. I've been following. Have you heard of the Colt Haynes and Molly Miller case that happened in Oklahoma?
No.
So
What'd they do in Oklahoma?
it's they were in the car with this guy, and they were on a high-speed police chase, and they kind of like cut it off at ends. And the next day, the guy who is driving the car turns up. They find the car totaled 2 weeks later, but never find Colt and Molly. And the guy who is driving the car is supposedly the nephew of a big police chief in this small town in Oklahoma. And they find out the car goes missing on their land.
So it sounds like a little bit like Making a Murderer.
Well, it does. It's like, hello.
I can picture her.
2013, and they still have not found their.
So they
bodies.
covered it up.
Yes. So the big story is that like the guy driving the car and the police chief of the town covered it up, and I follow it like weekly. I'm like,
wow.
how could you not find their bodies on this land? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, and it's a small town. You're from a small town, and it's like that has to be eerie enough to say like. My husband's from a small town, Kearney, and I grew up somewhat in a small town too. So to know that that's possible is true. I mean,
it's possible everywhere,
because there's a no, it is. You're right, but in a small town too.
That's part of the draw to it is that it's mostly
cover-up.
women, or a lot of the times it's women, and you could just be going to the grocery store and walking out and get totally.
So it's
that door, baby.
interesting to me because I was just going to a store earlier today, and I had my dog with me, and this whole theme is on the brain, right? So I pull up, and I've never really left my dog in my car, like when I go in anywhere. Okay. So there was a guy that pulls up next to me, and again, totally unwarranted. This person is probably a fine individual, but I literally didn't stop where I was going to stop because I was like, he scared me.
Yes,
he
follow
watched.
them.
Yes,
And I was like,
listen
you know
to
what?
your gut.
My gut told me like, this is I have a golden doodle and they're not a cheap breed, right? And so I'm like, I could leave him in this car, and this said person who's staring, I left. I was like, I'm out. This was weird. And so that instinct that you're talking about made me say like, I'll do this errand later. And I just had a moment.
I think that, it's funny that you bring that up because that same, going back to O-Town, gonna go back to Oprah. So that episode, the guy that said, never let them take you to a second location. It is very true too, that he was saying you have to listen to your gut. Listen to that sixth sense in the back of your head that says, this doesn't feel right. If your hair starts,
and that's what
standing
happened
up on
to
the
me
back
today.
of your
I was
neck,
like, nope, I'm not
listen
doing
to that.
that.
That is God. That is grace. That's the spirit. Whatever you want to call it. That is somebody or something communicating to you like, don't trust this situation. And if we would all truly be quiet enough and listen to that and then act on it, I'm telling you, I think a lot of people could honestly be safer because of that.
I have a story about that.
Yes.
So my
Let's hear
neighbor,
it.
this was early 90s probably. She was walking out of Price Chopper to her van, and she's like, I had a weird feeling, but I'm walking to my van. She gets in her van, starts driving down the road, and someone pops up out of her back seat with a gun to her head while she's driving down the road. And she jumped out of the car, and the van ran over her arm.
Oh my God.
But she
got
alive
away.
because
Oh
of that.
my
Like you said, never let them take you to a second location.
She was like, I'm out.
Yeah, this happened in our small town.
Oh, wow.
My neighbor in her van. And so now, because of that, every time before I have a Jeep, so I have an open back, before I get in my car, I stop and look in the back.
And look under, too.
Keys,
Yes.
like a
Like
knife
this?
in
Yes.
between your two fingernails.
I
or
don't
fingers.
anymore. I've gotten lazy about that, but I should because
So when I do that, and then when I get in my car, I always check out the back. If it's been parked like at the mall or something like that, I know to kind of walk with my keys in my hand, look around in my truck, see if anyone else is in there.
scary.
No, as you're approaching, check under because they'll slice your ankles.
They'll slice your ankles.
They will hide under your car and slice the back of your
Oh my
ankles,
gosh,
and then
Ava's
you're just
nodding emphatically.
No, that
here.
is
So Ava-
100%.
knows.
It's so scary to
not
be a
an urban
woman.
legend,
No,
it's a thing.
they'll
I used
slice
to
your
work at the mall, and I
Achilles.
would go
Yeah.
out late, and it'd be an under like the awnings and stuff, and it would freak me out. But I would try to look up under, but you
my
never know if
Basically, you have
someone's
to
waiting.
ninja into your car.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I had
hop on
an
the hood.
experience- I had an experience a couple, it was probably about 2 years ago, and I was hosting an open house at this house somewhere. It doesn't matter where it was
Yes,
at.
it doesn't matter.
But my husband
We're not gonna-
is, he's like the guy that is going to be inviting me to carry a gun with me, which I don't do. But he gave me a knife, and he was like, hey, you at least have to have something on you when you're hosting an open house. And this guy came to the open house, and he was just really kind of freaking me out a little bit. And I had 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out. And he was like, hey, come here. I want to show you something here. And I was like, oh, no, you're fine. You can just walk through the house. I'm going to sit here and just greet people as they walk in. And then he came back, and he was like, hey, do you have a hammer? And I'm like... Why
To
would
kill
I
me
have
with?
a hammer? What are you talking about?
have a knife.
Like, oh well, I want to show you this. I want to show you this window, and like it needs a hammer, and I could just fix it. I was like, no, thank you, and please don't touch anyone's things in here. And then he came back and he was like profusely sweating. And at this point, I'm like 911ing Joe, and I'm like, hey, this is weird, whatever. And thank God this other group of people came walking in, and he walked out of that house and had like this dish rag in his hand. I'm like, where the hell did you get the dish rag from? And he's profusely sweating, and he peeled out. And so as soon as they left, I locked the house up, and I called Joe, and I was like, this dude just totally freaked me out, sweating profusely, asked me if I had a hammer. And like the minute I saw him walking up, hair on the back of my neck, I'm like, this isn't good. Normally I'm gonna talk to you and walk through the house with you, but I was like, do not take 1 foot off of this porch.
There is something in us that tells us that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank
I
God
get it
for that.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe true crime shows help us learn that.
Well, and I think that's what Ava was trying to help us understand. Like, as we watch these shows, she's saying that the research shows that we are educating ourselves. So
True.
In the back of our minds, we may be like fixated on this, but we're trying to learn the tools to protect ourselves. Yeah. So when I was at KU, the Allie Kemp Foundation, so she was a big part of KU and Pi Phi for us. And it's like, we supported that. What do you call it? A charity, because she was attacked at a pool. She was a lifeguard at a pool, and somebody got her into the pool room and ended up killing her. And it's a self-defense class. And
I'm wondering, was Allie Kemp, so there were two things that happened very close to one
another. You're talking about the Target one?
The Target girl. So my brother
this
was
wasn't
going to
Target,
school.
but I know that Target.
I can't remember what her name was, but they happened like within the same year.
Yes. So
I shouldn't refer to her as the Target girl, but I just really can't remember.
And I know
her
what
name.
Target it was. It was off of 95th Street.
90, right by Oak Park Mall.
Yep.
Look,
Ava's our source check.
She's going to be our fact checker.
Yeah, and I love
Figure it out, baby.
All
Allie
I know
Kemp.
is that Allie Kemp was at a pool in South Overland Park where you would think, oh, everyone's safe.
Kelsey Smith.
Yeah,
And
that's who we're talking about with Target.
Yeah, Target.
Allie Kemp,
and Allie Kemp is the target. And so at KU, we were always talking about, like, on campus, you're targeted as a female. You have to know how to self-defend, right? Yeah. Without a weapon, because you can't have weapons on campus.
But Etsy sells, and I am carry your guns, that's cool, but I just don't. Like, I'm not going to strap up, go into the grocery store. I agree. But Etsy has these self-defense keychains where it comes with, like, something you could easily stab someone with, a rape whistle, pepper spray. And I want one so bad that I also have a 2.5-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I would have to, like, lock my keys up just as well. Right. But they do have self-defense keychains on Etsy that are really cheap.
We
and
need
they're
to look
cute.
into that and tag it on our post.
I could probably just do without the pepper. But the pepper spray is kind of hard to get into. But, yeah, Etsy has them.
Every
They're
woman
very
should
nice.
have that, because when you're walking out of a Target,
key between the knuckles isn't enough.
I have my Target 14,000 bags. I'm fine. And 2 kids in tow for me. I'm like, I got them. We're such a Target. Not even at holidays, but all the time.
And as a server, I'm walking out, and they watch me walk out and lock the doors and know I have cash.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not okay.
And so
that's not okay.
Reported at this Target, like, with the sex trafficking and stuff, and guys, like, women have reported that guys were following them around, like, up and down the aisles, and it had security.
Here in Liberty?
Yeah, so I always park by the bushes because it's easy to park there and get out. And so I don't even do that anymore,
That's
because
so
they said, like, guys will
that we
hide
have to think
behind
about
bushes
that.
there,
So
and
Lily,
gosh.
my 17-year-old, was at the Target parking lot, our Target, and got out of her car, and there was a guy. I'm just going to say it because we're fucking adults. He was masturbating and watching these young kids. I remember that. And so Lily called 911, called the cops. The cops came, got the guy. And then she was, thank God they didn't have to have her come. But he was a repeat offender.
Right.
Yeah. Repeat offender. And then another thing that happened to
Wait,
Lily.
was he arrested?
Oh, yeah, he was arrested.
Okay, good.
And then he was a repeat offender. I'm not sure where all that landed, but then another experience. Poor Lily,
horrible?
she always gets the worst.
I know, she really
worst
does.
experiences. So she's driving home, and she's on the. I don't want to give away too many descriptives of where we live, but she's on the road with the really nice houses in the roundabout.
Yes.
And a guy pulled up in the car while she's driving and pointed a gun at her face.
I've had that happen.
Here.
Have you?
Like,
where?
I was driving Independence Mall.
Oh.
I was at a stoplight.
And it doesn't matter where you're at.
I've had a gun
honestly.
pulled on me while I was driving. When I went straight to the police station.
Yeah. My brother and his
Lily
friend
came
were in the
home
back seat. My brother's like, "Let me out!" And I'm like, "No, we're gonna drive. We're gonna cut
they have
these
a gun.
people
We're not
off.
gonna do
Yeah,
that."
we're gonna cut these people off in the lane over here, and I'm gonna drive around them. And it's people are crazy.
But it was a woman who pulled a gun on me.
Are you serious?
And she goes, "You never know who's strapped, bitch." And I was like, my 7-month-old is in the back seat. So I took a picture. She said I cut her off.
Yeah.
But even if I did,
Even if you did, you're not warranted to have a gun.
I was driving a tiny Volvo and like everything's visible, so she saw the car seat in the back seat. It's the newborn car seat where they're facing back and they're snapped in. And so I went straight to the police station and took a picture of her license plate. And I was like,
Not okay to threaten somebody over
Yeah, that's
that.
why when my husband like tails people on the highway, I'm like,
Oh,
please
yeah, no.
stop.
You
Like,
never
I don't
know.
want to get shot.
We don't do that. So
Yes.
like teaching our young drivers, Ava's been out on the road, Lily's been out on the road. I'm like, don't even honk your horn.
Nope, that's what I
It's
did.
not fucking worth it.
Yes.
Like you're not even allowed to honk your horn.
Yeah.
No, unless you're like preventing an accident. And they just people are crazy.
They
People are crazy.
We don't need any attention drawn to us or negatively to where they would, because
You just don't want to be that thing that like snaps, you know,
Yeah,
the
right, because it
camel's back
made
or
it
whatever.
right, like you said, it might have been the 10 other things that happened that day, and then you're the thing.
All I did was he cut me off. I honked my horn because he almost hit my car. And at the next stoplight, him and his girlfriend were at my car with guns, beating on my window.
oh shit.
Yeah,
They
his
got
girlfriend
out
too. Yeah, we were in
Trash.
traffic at a stoplight. They both got out of their car and came over to my car, and I was like,
Okay.
yeah. And my brother and his friend in
Psychos.
the back seat were like, "Let us out. We'll take
Yeah,
care of this."
no.
And I'm like, "Not with a gun.
No,
No,
not with a gun."
But I mean, and this was 15 years ago, maybe more than that. So
Actually, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And it doesn't even matter. Like that story happens over and over again. It doesn't matter what, you know, if it was
Yeah.
5 years ago, 2
See,
years
to me,
ago,
that's
like, this has
alarming
happened to
because I
Lily in
did.
18
I know.
months. In
I don't
18
honk at
months.
anybody anymore. If they cut, if you
I
cut
don't
me
either.
off,
You have
I
to
will-
really be like you said, about to collide with me,
Yeah.
and I'll honk my horn.
Yeah, I'll just cuss you out in my car. Like, give you,
Internally,
finger under my
yeah.
seat.
What's gonna happen is my kids are gonna
Yes.
be freaked out because they're gonna go, why
Wow,
mommy go
my-
from 0 to 100?
Yeah.
Well, that's why
This
Colton knows
guy.
the F word now, is because of riding in the car with me.
Well, it's better
Well.
than him, the alternative, right?
Yes.
So
I'll
it's
tell you a
fine.
fun little story about the F word. So Martha came
the F
over
word.
earlier today while we were just prepping for a little event. And within about a 2-minute period, she said the F word like 30 times. And I'm like, I got
love
her.
it. Yes.
She's been hanging out around.
I know. And normally,
You're rubbing off
maybe
on
not
Martha?
30 times,
Yes,
but like
she's
3.
I feel so much
3.
better. I'm like, the F word is empowering.
It is
Okay?
I know,
There's
and
a
I just like,
physiological response
I know.
when you say the F word with force and you really mean it, and it's like,
and I'd had a hard 48 hours. So
we
I
had a
really
hard
need
10
to.
days.
I can
bitch.
have a
It's
hard
been a
5
hard 10
seconds and I'm
days.
throwing the F-bomb. It doesn't have to be 48 hours.
I know,
I
it
throw
was
that.
just like-
I had to
But
be
you deserve
creative
it.
in the
Better.
daycare with the F word.
Oh, so yeah, you're
And
not allowed
all
to
the
do
words, actually.
All the
All the
words.
words.
Can we
Yes,
talk about
like
your
cheese
mirror?
and rice.
Can you
So,
talk about?
Jesus
Can we-
Christ and-
Can we talk about that for just a second,
Please
Jennifer?
do.
My
Please.
mirror.
Your mirror.
Oh my God,
Okay, so
there's a
let
mirror?
me let me
Set
just
it up,
preface.
set it up.
I gotta set this up for her. So this is a saint that we're dealing with here, J Money.
J Money after 5:30.
7 to 8 kids in her daycare by herself. Wow. And we are loving the fact that she has a mirror. And what do you say to that mirror said times? Or at least smile at it, grin at it, whatever
need
you
some adult interaction, you go over to said mirror. Her name is Jenna.
Jenna.
She has a name.
And
she has
I'm
a name.
like, hey girl, what's up? How's your day?
Wait, are the
She has
children
a
doing
mirror.
this or are you
No,
doing
it's
this?
her.
This
The
is
Oh,
me
no,
to
it's her.
Jenna in the mirror.
faces.
When you need some other adult time. You
No,
know,
Because
like,
she's dealing with
you
like, hands to yourself, go calm down.
No.
I
good.
love it.
Mine
Yeah.
too, yep.
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
I have that mirror down there. Yes, yes. You know, sometimes I have to reconnect with Jenna during the day.
100%.
Oh my
no,
God, I
it's
love
going on 24/7 inside my head.
love
I just
it.
found
I love
out.
that
Did you
Hattie
know?
brought that up.
Do you have an internal
Yes, I
monologue
love
always
your
going
mirror.
on?
Yes, I have an internal
Did you know that there are
monologue.
people who don't always constantly have that voice? Do you always
Who
have
the
a
hell are
voice,
they?
an internal monologue going?
Oh, hell yeah.
I have
That
actually
bitch doesn't know when to shut up. It's
I
always
asked
on.
Matt, which my fiance, and he said no. And I saw a TikTok, and there are a lot of people who don't constantly have that playing in their head.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Inner monologue.
Oh, yeah.
She going
No,
hard.
she doesn't shut up.
Jenna's there.
Yeah, so no, that's so that's who I talk to myself in my head.
But see
Jenna,
that she could get you in trouble though. She can get you in trouble.
Well, I think
And
with
part of the
men,
growth is
my
like,
dad and my brother-in-law can't control when they're talking to their inner monologue, so they're just murmuring to themselves in the mirror.
Joe.
That's my brother-in-law.
Joe's like in the shower, like,
And my dad will be like, "This is fucking bullshit." And I'll be like, "Who are you talking to?
Who are you talking to? Your inner monologue.
yeah, no. Some people
Yeah.
can't control it.
No.
If
Yes.
you look at them like they're crazy, and then we're like, we just keep it in.
Yeah, I can control
I'll do that,
mine.
Ben will
saying
look
it
at
out
me and I'm
loud.
like, did I say that out loud?
Sometimes it does slip.
Me too. Sorry.
Or my face, like I'll be like hard in
no.
thought, or just going through a real argument with someone not real in my head, and Matt's like, "What are you stressing about?" I'm like,
The worst is like when you've had an argument and you go to sleep and you're like, ugh.
I should have said this.
that.
Yes.
Or I'll leave the daycare and Ben will say something and I'll look at him and be like, just a minute, hold on. And then I'm like, wait, hold on. Go.
Oh, Jay Money.
like, you were saying?
I love that.
And then at dinner, I'm like, don't talk to me.
Yeah, I just need a minute. I just
Yes.
need a minute with me and my wine. I want nothing to do with you right now.
I had that moment this morning. I was like, so yesterday we both kind of crashed and burned. That was interesting. So it's been a rough 10 days in the business world.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday I was like, I plateaued. Like, I need to just hunker up in my bed. I got my laptop, my phone. I'm doing whatever I need to do, but I just need to chill out. Because my kids are suffering at this
Mental
point.
health day.
And so am I.
It's a mental health
So
day.
I woke up and I was like, I feel so much better, but I'm very fragile. So I'm like, this is either going to last or it's going to end real quick. So I told all my kids, like, super duper inside voices, and that
Yeah.
is not natural for any powers.
This house is so freaking loud.
Oh, it's so loud.
So
I was
loud.
like, guys, I want to get you ready for school, and I want to send you off to the bus, and I want to give you
Just
showers
like,
and
yeah.
breakfast and whatever. But
They're like,
y'all
who are
gotta
you,
be
Delilah?
quiet.
Why are you whispering?
No, Delilah. She wanted one of those moments in
I want a
life.
rainbow
did,
to
but
come
I
out
was
of my
also
ass
like-
for you when you're walking to the bus. Like, yes.
Y'all have about this much space. You have about 2 inches before
Yeah.
Abby from yesterday comes roaring out.
So you better be nice.
You better.
Do you remember
just
the
be cool.
12-inch rule in school? Your voice can only go as loud as a ruler.
Yeah.
12-inch
Yeah.
rule.
I
Remember
Swab,
that?
that's
my
a teacher.
Yeah, you just took me back to like
No, I heard
I do that
Quiet
all the time.
Coyotes the other day, and it triggered me.
quiet coyotes.
When they do this.
crisscross
What is
applesauce.
Hush,
that?
Quiet
Squeeze your
Coyotes.
balls.
Oh, yeah, we didn't
When
get
they're
that
trying to
shit.
quiet me, and it
I've never
triggered
done
the
this
hell out of
before.
me. It made me so freaking mad.
Oh.
Like it was on the
we
bus.
don't do that.
It's. I'm glad you haven't heard of
Yeah.
it. I'm glad you guys don't.
If someone
like,
did that
so,
to me, I'd be like,
as a
What?
child, I was like, "What the fuck are you
I would
talking
be
about?" Like,
you know
Yeah.
what
I was
coyotes
so
do?
angry.
I know.
Quiet Coyotes.
Loud
Yeah,
as
no, that's a
hell.
real
I've
thing.
never heard of that. I just heard the 12-inch rule in school where your voice can't go louder than a ruler.
I love that.
That's
Wish
a
I
good
could.
one.
I think it's too late for
That's
me.
a good
I
one.
think
Hey,
Rivers
hey, hey,
coming in hot.
Other way, ST. Coming in hot. No. That'll work.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks,
wait,
babe.
wait.
That's
Can
what
we?
happens when you.
Wait, I have to talk about something.
Okay.
Can we talk about how there's no more serial killers?
What?
What?
How would, no, there's
Did
not.
COVID wipe them out?
No.
Can you
When's the
not
last
talk about
time?
serial killers like you
No.
miss them?
When was the last time you heard about a serious serial killer out on the loose? When was the last time it was on the news?
The guy who, when
In
I worked at
Kansas.
Cerner, he would shoot people like on the Grandview Triangle.
When- how long
down
ago
the
was that?
highway.
Within the last few years.
Few?
Yeah.
This was like 6 years ago.
She's
7 years
saying
ago.
current. Like
I'm
1
sorry,
year.
we don't have a real current
He would
one.
get you on the highway.
There's
Are
a
we sad
correlation.
about that?
I'm circling back.
Please,
Circle back,
like,
circle
am I the only
back.
one who knows?
There's
No,
no,
I
I
don't
know who
know.
you're
I
talking
don't
How you
know.
about.
would get, like when you were driving down
There
the
is
highway.
there are far less serial killers today.
And what's to blame
Vietnam.
What?
You guys are
I'm
looking at
like-
me like I'm crazy.
No, well, you bring it closer
They
to the
came
mic.
back
Tell
from
us.
Vietnam. There is when do you when all these serial Ted Bundy which he didn't go to Nam, I believe,
No.
but like if you think about they're either a lot of them were first responders or
That are
Vietnam
serial
vets.
killers?
Yes, Golden State Killer. He was a cop.
Oh yeah, he was.
I mean, I'm not okay. Whoa,
yeah.
not going there. I'm gonna backtrack real quick. But people who experience a lot of trauma. But there was so many more in the 60s, 70s, and 80s than you will ever hear about now.
Oh, that's interesting.
Do you think it's because we're taking care of their mental health and helping them?
I don't think mental health is a top priority, but I think that it's more readily. I think it's, if you think about like World War II vets who came home and couldn't say a damn thing about what they went through, to Vietnam vets who also came home and were treated like they were in the wrong, to now, which I'm so not saying that like PTSD and all of that is not still a prevalent issue, but serial killers are on the decline.
Really?
100%. Yeah.
That's good. Interesting. Well, yeah, that's a good thing. Who was the dude out of Kansas?
Cold blood?
Green. Oh. It was something. What was his name? He was out of Wichita, Kansas. He was since we lived here.
Where he would catch sex workers and he tried to sell their body parts at the Westport flea market.
Oh, yeah, our fact checker. Who was it?
Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how many serial killers.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead and let us know, Ava. She's our little fact checker.
In 1987, there were 198 separate serial killers active in the United States.
1987.
And in 2015, there were only 43, and
only 2
in 2019.
So coronavirus and being shut down was obviously horrible, but we have not had mass shootings
up until the last couple weeks.
Until the last week, we've had 2 in the last week. We had the one in Boulder, Colorado, and then we had the one in Atlanta. And I'll never forget, during the shutdown, I saw someone post something, or it was a meme, like, this is the first time in 15 years that we've not had a mass school shooting.
Because they're not in school.
And I think they have absolutely taken the role of the things that we all used to be afraid of with serial killers growing up. It was Ted Bundy, it was
Golden State,
Jeffrey Dahmer, all of those things, and now it's just like the dude in the trench coat at school that's pissed off and angry that has access to, AR-57s and whatever.
What a bunch of people that are and
now it's back.
So we don't have to get into all of that, but it's at least we're not having to worry about
Yeah.
We still have to worry about. You want to? Is it when? Nope.
My
it's not
son
good.
went to pre-K last year, and I won't say what school he was at, but there was a dad who was mad at the mom. They were going through a lot of stuff, with their kids stuff. But he was going to do something to the school, and it was on a day that my kid was there. And I mean, thank goodness that. I won't say like who turned him in or how it was solved or anything, but I am very lucky that early intervention took place and they were able to shut the situation down before it happened. But I mean, that was pre-K. I'm like, my son still has kindergarten through 12th grade to go. I mean,
you have to,
like sending him to school and like, Ben, I have never been a homeschooler, but like,
after that, I know it is super scary.
So wondering why we're obsessed with true crime, it's because it takes place every day. Like no, because I can't control it, so I have zero control. So the only control I feel like I have is if I watch it and I see what might have triggered these people to grab that woman off the street, walk into that school. Like, I just want to be one step ahead of the game.
Aware.
Yeah.
Like,
I just feel it's the
bushes
only sense of control I have over the situation.
Be an informed, smart person.
I'm also that woman who will look out the blinds if there's cops on my street. Like, I'm nosy. So being able to watch true crime shows.
You should be a Crime Stopper, and you should have a little post on your, I
feel like Katie and I are going to do a career change tomorrow.
I know, you are. You should.
No, if something's going, you cross by an accident and everyone slows down to see.
Yes.
Everyone is so curious about the scary stuff that could happen to you, but you're so thankful it did not. So that's, I think, probably the driving force.
Your awareness heightens with that stuff
because you're so afraid of that little one.
The drive to this house today when it was raining, I think every drive is going to be my fucking last. I swear, I hate driving with a child. I hate it.
Yeah.
No, that's a real anxiety thing for me. I hate driving with I didn't used to mind it, but since I became a mom, driving is scary because people, again, you can't control it.
You have precious cargo too.
And it's not just road rage, just stuff happens.
Yes, it does. And you would never want to be.
This has been of your own mortality.
Yeah, it's so lovely.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being on. We love love you all.
Is that our ending note?
Yeah.
We could be taken out at any time.
Yeah, you guys could all just beware.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you so much. I love you both.
Love you.
This
We
was a
love
really
you so
great,
much.
first guest
It
experience.
was.
Honored. I'm like, I'm gonna be my first guest.
We're
Thank
excited.
you.
We're gonna have
One
you
more
guys both
clinky
back on.
clinky.
Clink on.
Clink on.
Clinky. Yes. All right. Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Love you.